So if you guys are fans of multiplayer FPS, then you probably know Battlefield 2042's early access launch has kind of begun for people who have pre-ordered not only the gold, but the ultimate edition. And we finally got our hands on this game that has actually been shrouded in a lot of mystery based on the marketing that DICE and EA have been putting out over the last couple of months. And I'm starting to see why. Battlefield 2042 is the most anticipated FPS, I think, since Modern Warfare 2019. It's been 2 years without a real big staple outside of games like Warzone and Apex Legends, so a lot of people were looking forward to this game. There's a lot of opinions circulating online from everybody under the sun, different content creators. Reddit is on fire at this point. People love the game, people hate the game. And the thing about it is every single person who's putting their opinion out there, they're right. Everybody is entitled to an opinion, and it seems that everybody is sharing theirs about Battlefield 2042. And I figured I'd step in the ring and let you guys know my first impressions after playing today. I didn't touch Hazard Zone. That's something that when we went to go play it, the servers were down. The servers were down kind of periodically throughout the day, but they did their best to get it up. In terms of connection issues, I can't even really complain. This has probably been one of the smoothest Battlefield launches in terms of server. Yes, it went down for quite a while, a couple of hours ago, but for the most part, it's been pretty stable. Now, the game itself, that's a whole other issue. Now, my rig has a pretty old CPU. It's a 6800K. It's still a beefy system with a 3070, 32 gigs of RAM, and boy, was I struggling. I was playing all-out warfare. I was getting into gunfights. It was dropping to, 25, 30 FPS, and not a smooth 30. It was janky, and with everything going on screen in terms of the HUD and the clutter, it was really fucking rough to play all-out warfare. I'll be honest with you, I played for about 4 hours in all-out warfare today, and I didn't have, I would say probably not even a single game where I just enjoyed it. There were a couple of moments here and there where we were pinned down, kind of shooting at people, trying to get flank routes and stuff like that. But for the most part, and I say like 98% of my experience with All Out Warfare today was a fucking travesty. The performance on PC is just downright disgusting, and it's actually unacceptable for me from a AAA developer, one of the largest FPS developers in the world, to put out a game that requires a 3090 on 1440p to potentially see over 100 frames a second. It's an absolute joke, and they should be ashamed of themselves. I had to run everything on low for a while, drop it down from 1440 to 1080, and it was still chugging along at certain points. Certain firefights were dipping. I've seen some reports, people running 3080s. They were getting smoother frame rates, but still playing at 1080. It's just a joke all around. Take the performance out of the way, because I know a lot of people are going to sit here and tell me that they're going to optimize it in due time. We got to stop, defending developers who are putting products out like this. That being said, there is kind of rumors or discussion circulating that we don't have the day one patch, and that in its own right is another problem, because the people who pre-ordered to play today have paid upwards of $120, $130, and they don't get the day one patch. I understand the official launch is on the 19th, but this isn't QA time. This is the launch for a lot of people who have pre-ordered and put their money up, having faith that DICE, EA, and Ripple Effect would provide them with a stable game. And as every Battlefield fan knows, that's not what you expect at launch. I just figured we were kind of over the days of, hoping that they'd get their shit together. That being said, take all the performance issues out of it. Just talking about the core game, I find that the map and the flow of All Out War is ridiculous. The maps are so big, wide open. They're a sniper's haven in almost every single map that you can play out of the 7 that we have at launch. The game moves really, really fast in terms of trying to track players running left and right. The speed of the players is just super, super quick. So nothing's really changed from the beta in that sense. Traveling these maps on foot is such a chug. It's such a boring, tedious experience. Once you get into a vehicle, and you'll hear this from a lot of content creators, once you get in the vehicle, that's when you start bombing on people. You're dropping 30 kill games because that's really the only way to play it where you can be effective on such large scale maps like this. There were certain moments where you could glitch through walls, just kind of sit, wait for the enemy to show up. It kind of doesn't render everything around you. You see the red dot, you pop out, shoot them, pop back in. It feels like this game should have had another 9 months in the cooker. And I mean 9 months of all hands on deck. And that's what I said during the beta. I said 6 months. My experience with the actual launch product of the game was worse than my experience in the beta. And some people are saying that they've experienced, FPS improvements and performance improvements. I myself feel like we've taken a step back. There's more content here now, but a lot of the content is just empty. The saving grace, and you'll hear this literally across every single platform, Reddit, different content creators on YouTube, Portal is the saving grace for Battlefield 2042. The problem here is we've already had people creating, and I mean a bunch of people creating XP bot community servers through Portal to cheese all the achievements because they're fucking trash at video games, and it's already required DICE to put a nerf on XP that you can gain through Portal. All of the guns when you're playing in Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, everything's already given to you. The attachments you can just throw on at will. So you're playing Portal to not unlock weapons, but to unlock XP that, you can just level up for playing All Out Warfare. But then you go back to All Out Warfare, and I just didn't have a good experience with it. So I'm sitting here wondering what's going to keep me here long term. The XP has been nerfed. You can't unlock weapons in Portal. But jumping into Bad Company 2 Rush and Battlefield 3 Conquest was the most fun that I've had with this game since early this morning when I got up and started playing it. It's honestly a night and day difference, and it shows that the developers who are currently working on Battlefield have no idea how to make a proper Battlefield game anymore, because we were just killing it on Bad Company 2. I was having a blast, but one thing I did notice is the weapons don't handle the same as they did back in the day with Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2. The bullet spread, the bloom, the bullets are flying everywhere, man. I remember, you could let it buck and the bullets would deviate back in the day. Right now, man, they're flying all over the place. It actually feels like they didn't even tune them properly unless you're firing single fire. And I know a lot of people believe that that's how Battlefield is played, and I actually feel like, you let off a couple of bursts here and there. Full auto is absolutely useless when you're playing in Portal. They gotta tune it right. It's not balanced. Another huge problem in Portal is the revive mechanic. I thought jumping in and seeing the defibs was going to be really, really cool. Turns out if someone's dead on the ground, and if their body parts even touch, the side of a fence or a wall at all, you can't revive them. It's a bug that apparently they've missed. I don't even know if these devs have even played their game to actually QA, because there's so many issues with this game. The revive mechanic in the 2042 all-out warfare mode was bugging out. We'd walk up, hold E, doesn't revive people half the time. You jump in, you use the defibs. In a remastered kind of version of games that we've had for over a decade that have worked just fine, and there's still bugs in it. I don't understand how earlier this year they said that they were ahead of schedule, because this game, it shouldn't have been released in this state, and it shouldn't have had a price tag as high as it did to have to jump in and deal with these kind of issues. I don't know if we're getting a day one patch. I have no fucking idea. But what I will say is, if there is a day one patch that hasn't released yet and they're waiting till the 19th, then this whole week of early access should have never fucking happened, because that is a slap in the face to people who have put up their money to play your game early and have to deal with this kind of bullshit after you tried to assure everybody that the beta build was a few months old and there's all these issues that have already been solved, and then we come to find out that some of those issues, like animations when you're laying down kind of close to a wall and your guy's hand starts clipping off to the right of the screen through the guns, just basic polish that should have been there from a game being made by an all-hands-on-deck Criterion. They pulled all of their development teams to go fucking full on this game, and there has been little to no progress from the beta build. And for me, like I said before, it's been an actual step back. This has actually been one of the most disappointing game launches that I've seen in a long time, and I think it's because it's an FPS, it's multiplayer, it's a new Battlefield title, it's something I've been waiting for a long time, and every single person involved, from the marketing to the dev team to the suits who approved this shit, every single person has dropped the ball. I'm hoping that there's enough content in Portal and All Out Warfare to keep people playing for the next 4 months, because I think February is when we're getting the next content drop. For me personally, man, I do not see this game lasting that long, at least in my library. Portal's cool, but Portal's also a nice little nostalgia trip. I don't know what kind of longevity it's going to have. There's a lot of issues that I'm not even going to go into with this. There's HUD elements, some things that they've had in beta, like being able to turn down the HUD opacity so the objectives are not just all in your face. They had that in the beta. It's not here anymore. This is just an off-the-cuff recording because I had so many people asking me my thoughts on it. This is the first impressions. I'm fucking pissed. This day has been half disastrous. Thank God we jumped into Portal when we did, because I was about to fucking rage quit on the entire game. I haven't played Hazard Zone yet, so next week I'm going to come up with the entire dissection of this game from start to finish, from somebody who has kind of a lesser rig, but still, I would say probably in the top 5% of gamers on PC. We're going to go into it next week, and you guys are going to get the entire dissection of Battlefield 2042. But for now, it's not looking good. And I'm also not one of those people who's just trying to shit on everybody's parade. If you guys like it, that's fucking awesome. I'm glad that you have an FPS that isn't fucking Warzone to play. For me, I'm a little disappointed, and I'm sitting here looking at games like World War III as like, can we fucking get something? Because I'm about 10 seconds away from pulling the trigger on Vanguard so that I have something to grind long term for the next few months. And that's just fucking sad. My name is Big Fry. If you guys like the video, leave a like on it. You can dislike it. Apparently you're not going to be able to see that anymore according to YouTube. Subscribe for more FPS content, and I'll see you on the next one.